Hello, everyone. Hello, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, depending from where you are following today. It is my pleasure to be with all of you, dear participants, and most important, it is my privilege to have as a guest two distinguished, not just one, but two distinguished colleagues from Sohar University, from the Sultanate of Oman. My special gratitude to both of them for have accepted the invitation to be the guest of the today lecture dedicated, coordinated from University of Santiago de Compostela, from where I am. Just a few words for all of you. I'm Professor Antonietta Ilia, Associate Professor of Law, at least until the end of the summer at University of Santiago de Compostela. And in fact, this will be the last year for University of Santiago de Compostela as a participating institution to the edition of the school. But for the moment, we are together. Last year, we had the privilege to have Professor Bandahari, expert from India and director of IOGA Institute, of which I have the privilege to be member. This year we have two distinguished colleagues, as I said, from Sohar University. I just see on the screen Professor Dr. Falah Yunis Hamed. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much. And our pleasure to joining you in this fantastic and great summer school from Sultanate Oman and Sohar University. Thank you very much again, Prof.
And but I don't see on my screen Professor Abdullah.
Yes, I'm there.
Yes. Welcome, Professor.
Yeah, hello, how are you?
I'm fine.
Most welcome all of you, and good afternoon, good morning, as you said before, for all students. It's a pleasure to participate this year in the summer school as a guest, and thank you for accept Sohar University to be a part of this. It's a good experience for our students, and we hope we will share our knowledge and gain from the other university and lecturer knowledge. Most welcome all of you. My name is Abdullah. Okay.
So thank you, Professor, also for being with us. Before to start, I would like to offer a few technical aspects or about the development of the today lecture. As Professor Abdullah said, and I would like to specify that he is the director. Please, Professor, correct me if I'm wrong. Is the director of the program at the university. But the first characteristic today, and this is one of the added value, if I can say, from my colleagues from Sohar University, is that it would be a multidisciplinary approach to relevant issues related to the use of artificial intelligence and new technologies. That means that it will not specifically related just to law, but the focus would be from a multi-perspective, and that's why I'm also grateful to our colleagues to be with us today. The idea is that the day, even if is sponsored by University of Santiago de Compostela, however, it is my privilege to give more space to our guests who for that year are guests, but we hopefully will have them as member of the organizing committee next year. And furthermore, I'm sure that it will be the case next year. So the idea is to give to each of them 45 minutes to present their lecture. I'm here just as a sample moderator and today, and then have a few minutes dedicated to any doubt you have, any question would you like to have, including myself, of course, and then to have a few minutes of break between each presentation in order to give you also some breath of that day, that intensive day. And I will present some concluding observation at the end, also in relation to few aspects related to anti-discrimination law. This year, I will just introduce the University of Santiago de Compostela very shortly. For your information, University of Santiago de Compostela is based in the northern part of Spain. So it is the unique place in the country where we have no summer, actually. But it is a very old city. The main town is a UNESCO World Heritage Center. It's a special, Santiago is the capital of the region of Galicia, and Galicia, the region, is a special, very special place because it's a very different region from the rest of the Kingdom of Spain. In fact, you will find a very green region with many parks and so on. And it is, I used to say, it is the door to how you say, it is the door to the Atlantic Ocean from the south of Europe. Just let me to interrupt myself because I'm reading messages on the chat box. Please, I exhort all participants to use the chat box to not make jokes. This is a serious tool to use. So I don't really appreciate the fact that there are any kind of jokes on the chat. So please refrain yourself to do something like that. Otherwise, I'm obliged, because you have the name, I'm obliged to signal that and give you any penalty on the participation. Thank you very much. So I was saying, Santiago is the capital of the region. It's a small city, a very enjoyable city, and a very student city. Because it's like the city, the university is one of the oldest one in Europe. But the other specificity is the bilingual use in the region. In addition to Spanish, there is another official language, which is Galician, a very old language, used also in the teaching and research. So I invite you to visit us and enjoy also the food and the cultural side of the region. And of course, I'm here to give to you all possible details you need. Having said that, about myself, in addition to my principal affiliation to University of Santiago de Compostela, I have the chance to be also international legal advisor for a few international organizations. And we are going just to start a new addition project with the Council of Europe in a few days. I'm visiting professor at the Inter-American Academy of Human Rights, and also a member of scientific and advisory board of other institutions. This is the chance to be an academic, maybe, and the lucky side to have so distinguished colleagues around myself. So like today. And in fact, I do really hope that this is the start of a very intensive cooperation between my colleagues and I from Soar University in other possible joint initiative in the near future. So that said, I'm going to leave, I don't want to have the microphone to myself. I just would like to spend a few words about the bio. If I can, I ask to my colleagues if I can introduce themselves. So starting from Professor Abdallah just open.
So actually, Dr. Falih, he will start first.
Okay. So, but just I'm giving a few words about your biographical sketch. Please be kind, because I know that you are two experts, so I try to summarize.
That's fine. Dr. Falih,
okay. So let me the privilege to introduce our guest today, Professor Abdallah Aboualkishik. Hope to have a good pronunciation, and sorry for that. Yeah. As I said, is a program coordinator at the Faculty of Computing and Information Technology at Sohar University from Sultanate of Oman. His PhD in artificial intelligence and software engineer. As I said, you see, we are going to have a very specific approach and multidisciplinary approach to the study of artificial intelligence today. And he has a very long experience in developing new technologies systems as a consulting, and also, of course, a very long, extensive experience in teaching and research, more than 10 years. So his expertise is very ample. And the other particular aspect, if I can underline, is the fact that he used to apply research to the reality. So the work of Professor Abdallah is to apply science into to the service of the society. So that's very important in my opinion. So hopefully to have been as specific as I can. And then we have also our Professor Falah Younis from Sohar University too. He is assistant professor. Sorry, as I said, we are in winter here. But a professor is also at the same Faculty of Computing and Information Technology at Sohar University, but his research and teaching interests cover a very ample range of issues, including big data analytics and GPU-based computing. So he has published extensively, and is member of the international editor and member for the International Journal of Advances in Soft Computing and its Application. He supervised many students, supervises many students at different level, undergraduate and postgraduate. So he's a very dedicated person and a very kind person, I can add. So it is my honor and privilege to have both of them with us today. I don't want to add more, and I left the microphone to Professor Fallah for an introduction, if he wish, about Sohar University. And then please remember you have 45 minutes for your presentation in order to give possibility to our students to intervene about your intervention. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Ilya, about your invitation for us to be as a guest with the Sandiko University. It's our pleasure really from Oman, Sultanate Oman. That's a really great job you did in the summer school. And I knew you from the 2 years ago with this summer school, and we was also as organizer before. When I joined Sohar University, want to be Sohar University as also organizer, but through you as the guest now. We are happy to give and deliver talk and to make our students participants in this summer school, as will be regularly every 2 years and will improve day by day. Sohar University is the first private university in Sultanate Oman, and also Sohar University, it's is ranking third university in Oman. It has more than 6,000 students in this university, and there is 5 faculties in the Sohar University. Each faculty has a different and more than 5 or 6 programs. Sohar University now is looking for QS ranking, is working well in the research and teaching, and also Sohar University has accreditation from Australia long years ago with the Queensland University also have accreditation. They have a many collaboration with the many different international university from UAE, from Bahrain, Qatar, and Europe, USA, Australia, and Canada, and now Spain. We were going to have also Prof. Ilya with us in the future to have a very good collaboration in research, in teaching, in development of that. Thank you very much. Actually, I'm going to have today to deliver the talk about artificial intelligence and ethics of law. I'm going to share the slides with you. I hope you're going to benefit from this. And also, I'm working on this research in now new of the robots for how to recognize a speech. As you know, guys, dear students, dear professor, it's the social media now is very famous and useful with the many people word of the world. And especially that's now social media is part from our life. We couldn't left it is in even 2 hours. Every time we check our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and others. But there is some important things in social media, and before social media also is we call is hate speech. Many people don't know about the hate speech is how it's dangerous to the many people, many young people and olds. Hate speech is not just to hate, and also hate speech can be against our young children and daughter and son and school also. Hate speech, how we're going to use and impact is the artificial intelligence for this is fighting with the hate speech. Hate speech actually, it's the attacked a person, a group, and also attribute is with the gender, disability, national origin, and also ethnic organs. The law of the many countries, not just some countries, is describes hate speech as the speech as gesture or conducting writing, or display the voice of the projectile and action for the group individual beside is that membership of that group. The social media platform, guys, is like a Facebook and a Twitter. It will be have a concurrence of the emerging debates of the activities such as intensity of the hate. And also that's a platform is going to have affect the behavior toward of the public. However, I'm going to show you now a video. It's now a recent research is doing that hate speech and how is hate speech is dangerous in the life. Please be
Protecting online
focused on
communities
that.
from hate speech is incredibly challenging. Hate speech is about more than just text. The nuance of images, memes, and videos makes detecting hate speech even more difficult. And slang and expressions can vary widely across cultures, languages, and regions. To help protect people from hate speech, we've developed two new artificial intelligence technologies, Reinforced Integrity Optimizer and Linformer. To find hate speech, we build AI models by testing different neural architectures and selecting data for training. Normally, all of that is done offline. The model then goes online to see how well it performs in the real world. Reinforced Integrity Optimizer, or RIO, is a groundbreaking system for building and training AI models. RIO connects the online to the offline by continuously learning from billions of real-world examples of both regular content and instances of hate speech. With RIO, we can direct our model training to the most challenging hate speech violations. Optimizing our hate speech detection models more effectively has enabled us to take significantly more actions on hate speech violations than we could with our previous models. To better understand language, AI models have grown bigger with hundreds of millions or billions of parameters. The amount of computations required grows at an unsustainable rate. Linformer is a new innovative AI architecture that makes these systems vastly more efficient. It achieves the same results with linear rather than geometric complexity. This helps us analyze long videos and other complex content. For Facebook, that means near instant action taken on difficult to detect hate speech before it spreads out of billions of posts checked every day. New technologies, RIO and Linformer, have fundamentally advanced AI models, helping us to further our commitment to keep our platforms as safe as possible.
Thank you for watching this video. Actually, before I'm going there, the hate speech is now it's many countries is use artificial intelligence and deep learning. Now in Sohar University we have a research we have a robot. It's called Farhat robot. This is the first robot is entered to the Middle East and Gulf country. We are using for different interface, different speech, and how to recognize the behavior of the human during deliver the class, during the talk and presentation. Well, it's as you know, is those is platform famous Facebook and Twitter with the Instagram and WhatsApp. Facebook is in 2018 is 2.4 billion user. This is much of the user there, and it's a very active platform. Those is use social media is more than 50% of the people in the world is using social media. And the space of the hate speech in this platform is emergent and has been serious consisting of the online behavior with the general well-being. And that's in the law of the country, many, unfortunately, many, it's bad people using the social media in terms of the hack, in terms of the attack, in terms attack the people as young and also especially with those as teenager. And many cases in the USA, Europe, and Japan, and also Australia is reported about that. Well, how are we going to protect the people from hate speech as we are have a science and research? The artificial intelligence is very useful topic. And artificial intelligence is umbrella. Artificial intelligence, it has robots, it has a neural network, it has deep learning, it has also machine learning and big data analysis. To develop, and that is for solution to the hate speech, need to have a solution for identifying the hate speech faces. Ring of the simple of the machine learning model. And I have now, it's working in the research, is doing that as hate speech, spot from hate speech in the web caching. How to protect the bank's data in the using machine learning from the hate speech. The hate speech means that there is the message is not as will be direct hate. Some words is normal people, they don't know this is the hate speech. I will show you example for the next slides. But artificial intelligence help much for that. Is even the word is what's meaning at that word to sending and the sentence. The machine learning model, it's using for more compatible for deep learning and neural network. Well, the many researchers, as previous researchers, as they are working on that, is one of them, it's in the 2004, is Million. He's using the sector vector machine, a super vector machine, SVM. That is in the deep learning. He's using the result is 92% for the result and accuracy. 2016, we have Benevolent. He's using also SVM. Some of them is using as another algorithm. There is many algorithms used. I don't want to go is in details, more details, because I'm not giving to the you is hard topic. But in the 2016 also is have some of researchers is using with the Twitter CNN. This is another algorithm using in deep learning. And 2018 also it's the researcher DT, and that one is using database available with the CCN and GRU with the hate speech research. So far, the model it has, when we go to the hate speech, we need to looking for the sensitivity. Sensitivity, it's one of the bigger problem for detecting hate speech. The sensitivity, you need to use the machine learning algorithm to the text anonymous, because there is many types of hate speech. Hate speech has text, it has an image, and also is video. Is video is part from the image, but is dangerous one is the text is anyone he can type from his mobile, from his computer and devices. The model is that output of the algorithm to the training of the with the data. A machine learning algorithm is all model of the need to classify text for us, but the sensitivity, it's a small changing with the removing. Many researchers, those is the previous work, is they are using the deep learning and artificial intelligence machine learning, but they face its problem is sensitivity. What's mean for the sensitivity is the space between the words, special characters, the different characters from the different language, like a Chinese characters or like a Russian or like a French, as French and also Arabic and Indian characters. This is not understandable for all people. That's why that's a sensitivity need to study it and to make a computer understanding and do helpful for the head speech words using that special characters. Also, many of us or many people, yes, hello? Yes, many people is using also is when they are writing in the English.
Sorry,
Arabic.
Doctor, to interrupt you. Just to a gentle reminder to our participants to switch off the microphone, please, in order to not interrupt the speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. The head speech, actually, it's the many people, sorry for that, and many people is taxing in the mother language is using sometime number, example in English or Arabic, number 7, we are meaning that's H. The computer not understanding that. That's why those is people, smart people, especially the hackers, and those people who's working with the bad groups, they're using as a special characters and sensitivity, very important. Machine learning methods for the methodology, it's the very useful approach to have a breaking through of the detecting the head speech on the web platform. Because 1,000 or billion of the words is transferred from through the network in the social media from the server to your computer and others. But as machine learning is using the artificial neural network, there is a lot of the algorithm used, but which one is suitable is depend on your data sets is going to use. Is the piece of the computer or computing system to design, simulate the way for the human brain analysis and process the information. It is the fundamental of the artificial intelligence to solve the problem. As you know, guys, is the definition of artificial intelligence is to solve the problem and make a computer thinking like a human. Would be to provide impossible or difficult by a human statistical understanding. When we are a human, when we're going to looking on the sentence, sometimes the people who's not work on the ethic law and ethic of the artificial intelligence, they see that a sentence is normal. But the expert people, when they read the sentence, they knew that there is many things hiding, especially those as a lawyer, working as a lawyer. When they are receiving the contract or receiving the letter or sending message through the social media, we are thought is normal. But when he's reading, say to you, no, this is not, this many things is hiding. It has broken the law. That's why we need the artificial intelligence help a world and the people for detect head speech in artificial intelligence neural network. It's a self-learning. Why are we using the artificial intelligence neural network? Because it's a self-learning for capabilities that enable them to product better results, more data become available. Moreover, it's the processing for the head speech detecting is using artificial intelligence. It's have to use in your initiate before go to the artificial intelligence, that text file stored from the storage or from the server. And that is going to have a training and testing in using one of the algorithm or two algorithms of artificial intelligence neural network to have a training about it, and then we're going to test it. After that, we're going to have a subsequent responding with the best results for posting and publish or rejecting. Now at Twitter, it's started to using that as techniques. Try to tweet as some word it has a little bit head speech, it will be not published directly. will be going to reject or give you in the waiting list to check by is machine. And also the machine will going to give notification to the server and to the people who's responsible about that platform. And then the user will be going to initiate to do a post and then to form. Many people is maybe saw in the Facebook or other social media, if there is any video or picture, it's illegally, it will be blocked. Block it not because it's maybe is not as good news, because they are scared about people who is teenager and below 12 years old. That is same technique is using and now going to use with the hate speech to protect people maybe is have a races with the other people. Sorry about that, but there is those group is have a races. We need to protect those our generation and next generation from that bad people. I'm sorry about that, but this is a human. We cannot is rejected, but we need to protect ourselves and next generation by using a technology of artificial intelligence. What is the going to use in the hate speech data? We need to do first, collect the data from server and do the classification. During the classification, we need to clean the data from, meaning remove the stop of the words, streaming, and technicalization. And this is technicalization is meaning a special characters. Then we're going to implement of the team of the time of the frequency inverse document in the frequency we call TF-IDF. This is very useful still we are using, which is that will be going to have a weightage of the words. Example, when I say to you, hello, or when I say to you, hello, it's different, is right? When I say to you, hello, and when I say to you, hello, it's different meaning. It has a different meaning from the impression of the word. Same is going for the text. To remove the weightage of the word, more important behavior than words like the or the. Which is that mean get, to remove and add the less meaning, to go more statistical, and this is what's mean. That is common methods of the classifying text in the including sentiment analysis, topic labeling, and language detection, finally, intent detection. So if you see this as a graph, it's data classification cycle. It's a part methods of the hate speech algorithm to recognition by using artificial intelligence. First, we need to do the cleaning or cleansing. We call cleansing of the data and normalization applied to do all standard. After that, we're going to use the computing and accumulation to collect the various of the data available. Then go to the technologization to the further involved of the normalization and streaming. Finally, we go to the classification. We're going to check it has a hate speech or not hate speech. Oh, it has hate or not hate. The testing and training should be depend on the methods of using in the classification. All algorithms in the artificial intelligence using testing and training. I'm using now the third generation of the artificial intelligence neural network. We call it spiking neural network. And I was 2013 used that one, and the first one in Asia with the University of Technology Auckland during my finalized my PhD with the University of Technology Malaysia and University of Technology, Auckland. The spiking neural network is very complex, but is very useful, more biological from second generation of a neural network. We're using a different type of the testing and training, different classification. We called is that 10 cross folder. We're going to visit is the small data in the minimum and maximum statistical part. And the error, it's nearest of the zero from that algorithms. Training and testing depend is you are going to use that 30% is testing and 70% is training. But if you go more in the more biological and more effectiveness, you use 10 cross folder or validation of that classification when using training and testing in machine learning. After that, we're then going to use a model to implementation. To advanced tool, we're going to be sure this model is not overfits to our training data, maybe in the way of the making that excellent classification test data, for example, naive Bayes, beginning, boosting, randoms forced, and others that is in the modeling implementation of the data classification. So, can artificial intelligence is be going to use in the predict a speech of the online hit? Yes, of course can. But we need to do, it's many process. It's not easy. Once the data to train is with the enough training sample, maybe 1,000, maybe 10,000, maybe million of the training of iteration for using learning model can be beginning to make accurate to predict. When I say is training, that's mean going to be make it the algorithm model is more experienced. Now, when we're going to have an interview, when anyone is going to work in our university or our company, we're going to looking for the experience. That means he's training more. 10 years is different from 5 years. Same is number of the training and iteration of the artificial intelligence for using. But for that, we're going to have to use the features of the extracting and extract for the transform unknowledge text or unknown text. We need to have been feature set can be filled in the classification model. We're going to have a text and then going to have extract the features and then going to distribute the features to the nodes and then go to using the classifier model. When the classifier model is going to reach after the feature is cleaned, the hate speech or not a hate speech will be detecting. Dealing with the challenging in the classification, we have to have use is multiple label of the classification. That is have a multiple classification speech and also is using called with the binary relevance methods and to be trained to the binary classifier and each label. We have also voting beside classification. It's going that's voting that's mean a method is in symbols of the learning used classification that's help balance for the individual classifier with the weaknesses. Last one is not final, it's transfer learning and weak supervisor classification. It's because we have a supervised and unsupervised artificial intelligence algorithm, but we use the supervision classification is more useful. That is one of the bottlenecks of the machine in the machine learning model is to lag a labeled data in the train or algorithm to identifying hate speech. Limitation of the classification of the hate speech is not have a limit. Currently available model have relevant numbers of the limitation in the including hate speech for transmission and sharing hate speech message, issues associated with the various or different local language, running out of the vocabulary, terms, long terms, dependence, and many more. These limitations can be used as the feature to the pleasant study in the area. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening of that speech, and I hope it's useful for you. Any question, guys? Dear students? Hello?
Sorry, I forgot to switch on the microphone. First of all, thank you very much for that very interesting perspective on ad speech. Possibly you don't know that the issue, let me say, of ad speech is one of the central interest, the prevention and detecting and defining, including hate speech in international human rights law from now, let me say 10 years, more than 10 years. And I also wrote about that, especially in the use of, in using the approach balancing freedom of expression and freedom of religion from an international human rights law perspective. In the fact that that's why it's so interesting to me, your approach, because if I'm rightly, before to give the floor to our participants, I would like to take advantage of the privilege to be the moderator today and use that privilege to express a few consideration about the very interesting presentation to Professor Fallah, and also have his feedback about. Because just exactly 2 days ago, I was also underlining the need to regulate the use of international the use of internet platform internationally, in the sense that it is not possible that each state regulate in different form the use of platform from one side. And in my opinion, on the other side, it is insufficient that every single platform is self-regulating or try to self-regulating. I'm just to make an example about the use, and I would like to have your opinion about that, please. The institution of the so-called board inside the Meta group, which is the group owner of Facebook and Twitter and so on. And where there is a sort of internal mechanism, I have my doubts about the independence of such mechanism and the criteria used by such mechanism, but this is another point. But between other things, such board is called to advise and prevent about possible hate speech cases, including those posts inciting or be a threat for public health, like, for example, in a case of sponsoring the use of sort psychotropic substance. Such posts initially has been removed, and then in a second term, sorry to go in so shorter and faster, in a second term has been re-included, readmitted because of so defined freedom of expression reasons. So you see that the question is very, very, the topic is very central, because in my idea, we cannot be moderated by an artificial intelligence mechanism, because as the Council of Europe said, also who is the owner, the creator of the artificial intelligence mechanism is responsible for cases of discrimination. Discrimination based on religion, based on gender, based on everything, every possible reason. So what I am trying to say that is that, first of all, we need an international regulation, including especially, and if it's auspicious, desirable to be at UN level, limiting also business using such platform, because it is evident that the use of new technologies impacting human rights, so the dignity of individuals, as you said, especially specific groups, but not only, more vulnerable groups like children, like older people, and so on. But in general terms, is potentially impacting individual. And so it is important to have an agreement, and everyone can put the starting point. And to me, the starting point is the definition of hate speech, which is a very hard point to define, right? But you mentioned, you summarized the definition of hate speech. We can find it at Article 20 of ICCPR, for example. So the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the prohibition of public discourse to incitement to a threat. This is the point. When we talk about hate speech, doesn't matter if in a platform, doesn't matter if in a chat. The intent, you mentioned the intent. The intent is to create hatred or incentivize hatred against an identified group on the basis of gender, religion, and race, and so on, nationality, and so on. It's a sort of targeting people, right? So that's why, to me, is important to not let just to the machine, because behind the machine, there is always a public or a private authority which must be accountable in case of discrimination. So the return to the human, I mean, this is very interesting. The University of Oxford has a very interesting center of research about, and I think that we will have a very interesting intervention in the second part of our lecture today with Professor Abdullah about ethics of the use of artificial intelligence, where the point is to answer to that question. What would like to what would we want to do with artificial intelligence depends from us, from an ethical point of view. We just design the algorithm. So our culture, our identity, our view of the world mark such or our interest in case of a business, for example, mark the algorithm. That's why it's needed that the control is not technological, but human, in my idea. I would like to have your observation, and then I will leave the floor to our audience. Very active today. I'm very happy to see that. So, but I have no doubt. I had no doubt about. In the premise, I say that we have two experts today. So, please, Professor, very shortly to my observation, and I will give the floor to our students. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much of that interesting question. And also, dear Professor, is artificial intelligence is many people, they don't know what exactly it can doing. Yes, we are designing algorithm, but there is a human behind that. Now, is artificial intelligence is going to have is touch our feeling and our behavior. Is now artificial intelligence is going to make it is a human is can solve many problems is a human cannot solve it. As I told you, we are a human, it's we cannot see the small mistake. But artificial intelligence, when we make it is experted is algorithm, is can detecting is a small problem. As I told you, there is many sentence is not understandable from the normal people. But the low people like you and the expert people like you, they knew what is the meaning of that sentence, but not have a chance from the many people go to visit and check with the lawyer or with the people have expert with the law written. But artificial intelligence can
Sorry
help
to interrupt.
all the
Sorry to interrupt you. That's why I say that we need an international agreement, because if we leave the self-regulation as in that case, right now we have no rules, neither at national level, neither at international one. So the platform, the private sector, is intended to try to self-regulate, if I can say.
Yes.
But this is not convenient in my idea, or not sufficient at least. So one starting point may be, for example, to find an agreement between state at UN level to try to modify the ICERD, the International Covenant for the Eradication of Racial Discrimination. It can be one point, for example, because you know that there is a working group, an intergovernmental working group on the definition of complementary standards to the ICERD. So that can be a very great opportunity to find a way in that. This is my personal opinion, of course, but yeah, please.
This is not just your person, this is our dream also has been going to have. But it can be if by you and people like you and like us to have this is agreements, and this is we call recognize, we can get recognition by maybe from our platform as summer school. I hope it can make it every year, not every 2 years. And we can get it many universities, many institutes from different countries is kind joining, and we can get recognition.
Prof, can I have my point of view?
Yes, of course. Yeah. I don't authorize you, please. You have the other privilege to be the co-chair today.
Yeah, it's fine. So actually, any development, and we are going, and we cannot stop the development of the technology and how the technology will evolve in our life in the future.
Yeah.
And in next 20 years, I think we will have many change to include the artificial intelligence in every sector. So we cannot stop that, and it's good. It facilitates our life, but nothing will be same. Everything will change. Policy will change. We need regulation that suit that situation, that development. Ethics is involved in everywhere there. Actually, as you said just now, you cannot let the machine judge everything by itself. So there is a human behind it, but this human should also have ethics, and there is a policy for ethics can control everything and not allow the human to do whatever he will do. but we cannot stop AI or the new development or the new technology
No,
because we're
it's not.
afraid from the information or the security part. As an example, when we all the world forced to go to online learning, and we already for many years we working or teaching with the traditional learning. Now when we moved to the online learning, we need to change the rule and the policy to suit that situation, the new situation. So whatever the situation will be, we need to change our rule, our policy to suit that. Yes, I agree with you. That's me. Yeah.
Thank you very much. But this is one point. As a jurist, I always say that law must be considered as a social science, maybe the most privileged one. So that means that the society continuously, as you said, evolved. And with the society, the advancement in new technologies too, for example, but in general terms, if you want to give the best possible answer to a given society, a national one, the international one, a regional one, and so on, you must follow the exigencies as the law and the policy to implement law, the related policy, must follow those exigencies. So if I have in front of this ocean of, let me use that metaphoric view, ocean of new technologies, of course, we cannot stop that, but new tools from a human rights perspective must deserve respect for human dignity and protect people, and also give the chance to progress, not just to advance, to everyone. New technologies is useful if it can be accessible to everyone. We have seen in that pandemic the fact that many people, despite efforts, remain behind because of the lack to access to a device, for example, or to a stable internet connection. So that impacted their right to education, and that's why we have also that school is as a kind of consequence of the pandemic, a good consequence, right?
Yes.
So that's why I would say I'm right. I totally agree with you. We must change policy, but it is always bearing in mind that what we do is in the benefit of the society, or at least is what politics should think to do normally everywhere. Thank you.
Yeah, Prof. Thank you. Exactly right. Is should be what you say is correct, but it's difficult to do this. We hope in the futures can be, and really we are doing our best to using the technology with to protect the human, to protect the law. But of course, we need the ethic approval, ethic forms to follow it, to be on the law exactly. Uh, any question from you, Prof, or as students?
I think early you
So
raise your hand and
yes,
share us something.
I have on my screen, if I can use the moderation tool. So yes, there is, please introduce yourself and present your.
My name is Saksham Tiwari. I'm from the organizing committee of this summer school too.
Yeah.
Ma'am, there are some questions in chat box. Would you, sir,
Yes,
would you mind
sure.
to get the answer for the same?
Yes, you can answer to.
Yeah.
You can answer to the. You can pose the question now, even if you.
Yes,
Even if you put it on
absolutely.
the chat,
Sir,
please.
Yeah.
sir, questions are already in the chat.
Sorry.
In the hair.
May I repeat it? Repeat the questions on mic.
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Please.
Okay, sir. Sir, one of our participants, Ruchi Sinha, has asked two questions. One question is related to ethical guides regarding the programmers. Like, what type of ethical guides are given to the programmers and how they judge the hate speech for the same. And another question which Ruchi Sinha asked is,
Last part from your question is not clear. Can you
Yeah,
repeat?
I think we have some trouble of connection with our participants, and so I would like to ask you, Saksam Tiwari, is it your name?
yes, ma'am.
Saksam, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So no worry. If you have your question, please ask your question.
Okay.
For the chat, I'm following the chat, so I can read it by myself. No worry, and present the question. So, do you have any question, you?
Yes, ma'am. Sir, I do have a questions like if we are thinking about the hate speech, this is generally or basically depends on the perspective of the person how the other one is judging. Like if we use a word like stop and don't go, if we pause between that three words, the meaning becomes get changed. Like if we say somebody stop and say don't go. It is possible that they just it as like we are saying him or her to stop and not going anywhere. And another one is they can take it as like stop and don't go, that we are forcing them for their our purpose. The same is depends on perspective of another person's. And another essence come when that somebody has posted some queries or some words in their regional languages, and meaning for the another person for this regional language in own language becomes a question or comment on their name or religion or anything that converted into a hate speech. How this does seem both these two scenarios can be controlled by AI using in hate speech?
Okay.
Sir,
Well,
is this
thank you very much.
Please.
Yeah, I already understood from your questions is the artificial intelligence, that's why he's using artificial intelligence. Like a human people, as a human being, we cannot recognize exactly as the word if there is no impression of the face. If I'm not talking with you, how you know I'm angry from you, I'm happy from you? From my face, is right? When I say to you, go, or don't go, or stop, maybe I'm going to give you a notification or going to give you awareness, don't go from here, it's dangerous from you. But when I say to you, go from my face like this, that's mean have a hate speech with you. That's why if behind the computer, is there is a people is going to writing, not just voice, writing the comments, that it has hate speech, like a normal people, they didn't meaning, they didn't recognize it. But the artificial intelligence can recognize, because this is like last 2 years I was have a conference in USA. They have mentioned about many teenagers is catching by bad groups from the hate speech, and they didn't found it as artificial intelligence now is using to help those people. Is using by sexuality hate speech, by region hate speech, by races of the people as black and white people in America. Sorry about that, but this has happened by using the hate speech. Is artificial intelligence is help much about it.
Yeah,
because in the
course.
normal, I can recognize your faces. You are happy or angry from me, but behind the computer, we cannot see you. We can
That's
see
why
just
there is important to have an impartial
yeah.
definition of what it is and an impartial case by case, because, you know, we cannot unfortunately generalize about what it is hate
Yes,
speech
of
and what
course,
is
yeah.
not. So
Yes.
that's why case by case is needed to be at least supervised, controlled, because freedom of expression is not absolute in my view, but not only to me. If you look at all international covenant on human rights, you will find a list of legal limitations to freedom of expression. Such balancing about concurrent rights must be defined case by case. And of course, the limitation must be established by law.
Yes, correct. All right.
Yeah, this is for our participants. Remember that the limitation, we are coming right now from a full limitation of rights during the pandemic. So the limitation must be established by law. So, but also remember that what is included in a law can be legal, but not necessarily just. Remember that.
Yes, yes.
So,
Okay, thank you, bro.
thank you to you. I think I'm going to.
Sorry, Prof. There is a many questions in chat box.
Yeah,
Just,
I saw, but so I'm starting going to the the microphone to Miss Arielle Arango, right? She's waiting right now a long time, so thank you for your patience.
Yes,
Please,
Ariel.
you have the floor.
Ariel, you can have your questions. Ariel.
Yeah, please, our technical support can switch the microphone of Miss Arango. Let me see if I can do it by myself.
Okay, I am unmuted.
Oh, great.
Thank you so much.
We cannot hear you.
For this wonderful discussion. It's really insightful. My question refers to something that Dr. Antonetta mentioned earlier with how Facebook's AI algorithms detected hate speech.
Ellie, can you introduce yourself first?
Oh, yes, sorry. I am Ariel Arango. I am a fourth-year student in Sahara University currently, and I'm studying computing and web engineering. So my question again was related to how these tech companies are saying that they are having state-of-the-art technology with regards to AI and detecting hate speech online. I think recently they reported about 56 million posts being brought down, but I read recently that there's a study from Stanford how human-computer interaction and AI researchers have identified how, yes, they have very high accuracy in detecting hate speech, but it's also provoking a lot of dissatisfaction amongst the users. So there's a whole difference between evaluating more traditional tasks, but my main point in question is how can AI be improved or be used, because there's a lot of first bias from the people who are making the algorithms or feeding the data into the algorithms. How can that be addressed? Second is with regards to moderating the hate speech, how much is too much where you have censorship already? With regards to racism that Dr. Fala mentioned earlier, there are a lot of reclaimed words already from their communities themselves. So how do we make sure that those communities aren't being targeted by the AI hate speech detection systems that we currently have?
Well, thank you very much, Chiara, about these questions. Really, it's still as we are working about it. This how we going to trust is AI for going to against that as hate speech we are doing is high level of the algorithm and programming to hybrid and to analyze the data is very deeply, and then going to clean the data as I show you in the slides, but this is not in the details. There is many steps and methods using inside to be sure it's everything is with the statistical is correctly. As artificial intelligence is not just for use and we say is artificial intelligence using that one. No, it's correctly by testing. We are doing the test, and we're going to have many examples for using many words, many hide words, many hide hate speech, and is artificial intelligence is detected. And now I told you is the Twitter is used. Twitter, you try to write in a tweet and will be detecting. Twitter is using SVM, supervised vector machine learning with the spiking neural network. But now I'm have a research, we're going to be finished after maybe 2 years, as with the using a spiking neural network appearing with the biological hate speech detection. And we will hope as we're going to have a many publication and you're going to see it and test it. Thank you very much. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, actually, that really puts it into perspective. Thank you, Doctor. I have one more question, but this is towards Dr. Antonetta,
Please.
if that's all right.
Can you you were blocked. Can you repeat? You posed the question?
Yes, I wanted to ask regarding the studies that you've done with hate speech and more on the law perspective, since you're from that industry. So the data that is being collected by these AI detection systems, can it legally be used against those people who are posting it and hold them accountable in terms of like if there's defamation lawsuits or there's claims against these people from the victims themselves? Can it legally be used in the court of law?
Thank you very much for that question, because it's a very interesting point and central point, not only for me, but is a question raising from the use of new technologies, and it is diffused the idea that the applicable law in relation to defamation, crimes against the honor, and so on, cannot be also translated to the use of platform. Just to give an example, the Supreme Court of Spain recently condemned a YouTuber because of the use of a video against a poor people living in the street, and he posted such a video scaring such person. So it has been found accountable for hate speech and hate propaganda against incitement to hatred against this targeted group, and he has been suspended from the use of any platform, blocked all those accounts during 5 years. So in other terms, what we need is to decide, as I said, case by case in accordance with established law, and in case to update existing law on defamation or on crimes against the honor, on crimes against the public security, because as I said, the incitement to hatred through platform can also create turbulence inside the society for many different reasons. So that's why we need to have a better regulation and to recognize case by case if it is a case of a threat or not just to let to the self-regulation of a platform. We need also the intervention of law in that sense. And of course, data are increasingly used as a proof, as an evidence in a public hearing, in a trial, and including in the public hearing phases step of a trial. But in that case, remember that especially in criminal matters, who transform the evidence in proof to identify the crime is always a judge, independent and impartially. That's why it is so important to have a correct transposition of the use of that data in a trial. So thank you very much. Hopefully I answered to your question.
Yes, thank you so much for your perspective. Thank you, doctors, for entertaining my questions.
Thank you for your interest.
I answer last question because we need to give the time to Dr. Abdullah to give the delivery. One of the participants, he asked about the AI operate in the dark web. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, web. Dark web actually, it's that's in illegal web. It's for the people, the low people, they know about that. We can't deal with the illegal web. We talk about the social media legal one. There is a many websites is illegal. Is right or not? Is we cannot say AI operate is for dark. There is many web. It's like a dark web. It's a dangerous web. It's fake web. It's attack the people from the education, from the industrial, from the banks. That's we can't deal with them. That's why this is illegal web, and we cannot recognize that web.
No, we cannot recognize, sorry, doctor, to disturb you, but there is an addition by Madam Ruki Sina. She or he, I hope she, traffickers and arms dealer operate there, and they use AI unabashedly. So our participants say that of course, we don't recognize such web, but however, there is the illegal users using artificial intelligence. So from my side, I know that there are many investigation and operations by public security officer, police officer in different states to try to use the dark web to find criminals, because they are catched inside in that dark web. Despite we do not recognize that, unfortunately, the black side of the society is inside the black, the black web, the dark web.
Yes, correct. You are right, Professor. It's we can do it. That if we're going to block the dark web, they will open a new one. There's many expert people in the artificial intelligence there, but we are, as we call it, we are a nice or a good group. Is we going to against is bad group. That's why there is an AI is the people using in the illegal way, and we are a good. We're going to broken that one, and we're going to stop them to protect our people, our friends, our users in the online platforms or other website.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fallah. I have no words to express my gratitude for this very interesting debate today. So I would like to ask, please, to Professor Abdullah to accept to give to our participants few minutes of break in order to have them more fresh and interested in the second intervention, because I understand that it's hard for everyone to stay so long time behind the screen. So if you are agree, I'm going to give just 10 minutes of break to our participants. So exactly here we are at 4 p.m. Madrid time. So we will meet at 4:10 Madrid time. That means exactly, let me think, I'm just counting the time zone difference.
I think in Oman is now is 6.
It is now 6 p.m. Yes.
In
Yeah,
India,
okay, so
in
6.
in India is like 7:30.
Yeah, okay, so please 10 minutes and then we will be back with Professor Abdullah. Thank you very much again
Okay.
for your interest and
Thank
attention.
you. Thank you.
See you.
See you guys.
Okay, I'm here. Welcome back to our participants and our distinguished speakers again. As I said before our short break, we have the pleasure to have Professor Abdullah, who is going to give another perspective about the use of artificial intelligence and new technologies in the broader sense, which is the perspective of ethics. Other interesting perspective to me, who I must underline that I'm the first learner today. So that's why I'm so grateful to be an academic. The only way to have access to shared knowledge, the best way maybe to have to learn from the best colleagues in the world. So thank you again, and Professor, you have the floor.
Okay. Good afternoon and good evening. Good morning for everyone. Thank you, Professor Elia, for the nice talk, and it was before the break. It was really a nice discussion, and we gained many new knowledge from Dr. Falah. I would thank Dr. Falah for his presentation and for the knowledgeable topic that he presents. Today, actually, I know that in this school summer, I know that we have many students from different fields, some of them from law, some of them from IT, and maybe some of them from other fields. So actually, I will not go deep in some specific topic. I will try to make my presentation is talking about one of the main things that related to AI, which is ethics and information security. First of all, let me introduce myself. I know that Prof. Ilya, she introduced me, and that she is thankful for her introducing. Actually, I'm working in different field. I'm working in different area. My major in AI, but as you know that AI is a wide umbrella you can implement everywhere. So if you go to information security, you can find AI. If you go to information system, you can find AI. If you go to any part or any area related to education, related to law, related to any place, you can find AI. You can implement AI in everywhere. So actually, when I choose today the topic, I will try to talk first in the beginning about the future of AI. I will go to explain some part of information security. What's the information security? What's the important concept in the information security? Because mainly, as we discussed before, when you're talking about any new technology, always people thinking with security problem, security challenge. There is always a challenge from the side of security. So here, to solve the problem and to make the security more effective, more success, we need the ethics. So then later on, I will talk about ethics in information and in information security and ethics in AI. There is a saying said that AI is going to change the world more than anything in the history of mankind, more than electricity. I don't know why they're choosing electricity as a main point, but it's very nice saying. So we said always that AI involved in everywhere: manufacturing, healthcare, customer service, media, transportation, and other areas. Now, if I'm talking about AI implementing in the future in everywhere, you will find later on, as we mentioned before, that AI could control everything. That means it's involved in our finance, in the bank, we always implementing AI applications, maybe when we transfer money, we're using AI application, blockchain. When I want to talk about patient information, it's healthcare, customer information, intelligent business. As Dr. Faleh topic, we can connect it with the media to make the media directed in some direction. You can use AI. So AI everywhere, you can implement it everywhere. So that I think that when I'm talking about AI, I'm not talking about single topic. I'm talking about all of the fourth industry evolution. So in the industry revolution, we have the many type of technology, all of them connecting together to produce something called AI. The AI is a combine of intelligent system. In the beginning, in 1956, when they want to produce something AI to act as a human, they start to develop, they want to produce a machine that behave like a human. Then different researcher working in the topic, some researcher working in the image processing, some researcher working in the voice recognition, some researcher go and working in the text mining, some researcher talking about natural language processing, and they start working. Now, as you see here, the main idea of AI was to produce a machine behave like a human. But when the researchers start working, they start become far away from the main goal of AI. Some of them just still working in image processing and in the vision, and he go far from the main purpose of AI. After 50 years, 70 years from development, we reach actually the most advanced technology. In image processing, we have a high accuracy now without of margin and error. With audio processing or pattern recognition, we will reach the maximum. In the network, we reach the 5G, and the 5G, if you don't know what's the 5G in networking, the 5G, it's able to handle hundreds of gigabytes per second. You can transfer. If it's working in correct way, 5G can handle until 100 giga per second, and that's a huge amount of data to transfer in a less time. So automation, smart city. Now the world is going towards smart city. What I mean by smart city, that means all sectors is working under intelligent system, controlled by intelligent system. Digital twin city. Anyone hear about digital twin city? Anyone? I need someone raise hand, maybe. Digital twin. Digital twin city, that's mean as you have in the ground a smart city, you will have a simulation have reflect all the smart city in some digitalized way. So to management people, when they want to manage the city, they can see everything in digital way from the ground. So this is called digital twin city. So all of these improvements, all of these technology need one thing. We know that this technology can control our life. The airplane is controlled by system. So when you want to go by the airplane, you should trust the system itself, the technology itself. So here, what I'm talking about, we need information security and we need ethics. I could ask someone, maybe when you withdraw money from machine, you withdraw money from machine, right? From ATM, right? So is it, you count the money after you withdraw? Yes or no? You count the money? If you withdraw money from machine ATM, you count the money or you just take it? It's mean that do you trust the machine? That you trust the software or not? That's in the future will be something you should trust it. So now let's go and talk about security and ethics, because all of these new technology, all of these AI technology need to be secured, need to implement in secure way, need ethics umbrella to handle them. So let's talking about some facts. Humans are almost fully dependent on information and technology, especially for now. If you remember before 10 or 20 years, if some people don't have a phone, you don't have a phone. But now you cannot lift your house without a phone. I mean, you cannot lift the technology. It's something become part when you wake up from morning, what you are doing. You are not drinking coffee first. You look to your Facebook. So technology is become part of your life. And until if you don't, or you start to say, no, I can't control myself, but anyway, it's become part of your life. So that all your data, or your information, or your money in the bank actually is the data. So the data needs to be protected. So information security should be considered always. And information security is not simple as it's might first appear to the novice. User and system manager tend to not see the benefit of security until further occur. And that's one of the main things that we should consider, that you cannot say that I don't need information security. And I can say that many users, many people, they say in their mind that, oh, who will attack me? Why me? I don't have anything. But it's you think in this way because actually you are not considered the security as a part of, or as a culture of your life. Now, if you heard about ransomware before 3 years or 2 years, they encrypt many user data, and they're requesting money to return the data for you, right? If you heard about it. So it's happened frequently, so you could be the victim in any time. So you should consider the security part. You are a student. I know that you are a student, right? I would ask you one question. Is it your ATM card, password, your birthday, or ID, or phone number? Your student password, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Why? Because you're not consider the security. You're always thinking that, oh, it's not important. You use the password, the same password for all your website. Is it that true? That's wrong. I mean, if it's true, but you should consider the security in your part. Right? In the beginning, it's difficult to implement security, but after a while, it's become something in your behavior, in your culture, and that will be good for you and not causing any harm for you in the future. Hacker only need to find single weakness, but people, or the people like us in information security and AI, the developers need to consider all weakness. So you should find or try to protect all, or correct all the weakness in your system. They stated in 2020 by Cybint that there is a hacker attack every 39 seconds worldwide, and that is very dangerous information. Why? Because you see, smart people start to going to the wrong side. Why? Because when you're talking about hacking, the hacker is not hacking because of money. They're just hacking because they enjoy to do hacking. So that is difficult to find them because they are not doing that for money. They are just enjoying doing that. And that's happened before, like how many years? I think 3 years, is one hacker is stealing some IDs, passwords, and credit card numbers and their password, but he didn't take any money. He just put them in the internet. So why? Because he want to just make a trouble for certain people. Now, when I'm talking about information security or network security or information security management, there is a difference between them. when I'm talking about, I'm talking now maybe because some of student is not IT background. When you're talking about information, you are talking about the data that you have it in your device, in your phone, in your computer, in your local machine, and you need to protect it. In the network security, I'm protecting the transmit data. So when you want to transmit data from place to place, I want to transmit in safe way. That's mean, like as an example, we know that there is something called encryption. When I'm talking about encryption, if I want to protect the data, I encrypt the data in my laptop, or I put some access lock, access control lock to my data. But when I want to protect the data for the network security, it's not easy, because actually who transfer your data is the internet service provider, not you. You are sending the data. Who receive it? Your telecommunication company. So their side to protect your data, maybe from themselves. So information security management is a procedure. So that we need always to have a procedure to control the security side. When you graduate from university and you want to work in any company, there is a certain policy, security policy. You need to read it. Yeah, so you will ignore it. So you will not read it, I know. So all of you will not ignore it. But anyway, why the people ignore the security policy? Because they know that they will learn the thing as a culture if they find the culture of everything. But it's necessary to read everything, especially in some situation. You cannot ignore the security procedure, and that will harm you, and maybe will causes later on to find you without job. So in general, we have something called security services, security mechanisms, security attack. So when I want to have a security, I'm looking for security services. What that mean? If I want to offer security for you, I need to give you the system have confidentiality. Have confidentiality. That means pointed. What's mean confidentiality? That's mean the data is just seen or revealed just for authorized person. If you are not authorized person, you cannot see the data. So the system should be protect the data and from the unauthorized person. Integrity, the data should be safe, not changed, not modified. Availability, that's the data will be available for authorized person. If you are authorized to log into your username password, the data should be available for you. If the data is not available for you, that means there is a problem. There is a problem in security, because you are legal or authorized to see your data, but you cannot access. That means there's a problem. And if you heard about denial of service, one of the attacks that also affect the availability. So what I need to protect the services, I need mechanisms. So I have access control mechanism, and could be physical way, or by using software, password, username, or physical by using lock door, or by using CAM security. Authentication, I need someone who authentic to have the permission to access this data. And we have something called encryption, and as we know, the encryption is very important technique. In attack, we have two different types of attack we should consider. Some attack is passive attack, and some of them active attack. And I will talk about them later on, because there is one example for them, each of them. And we have something called security threat. We have security attack, we have a security threat. So usually the threat is converted to attack. The threat something codes, what's the reason for the threat is the system vulnerability. Vulnerability, that's mean weakness. If there is a weakness in the system, that's threat to me. Or inadequate user experience, or the user himself, the employer. So that most of the problem is come from user who don't have enough experience in the system. Some user is like maybe sometime to remember password, he can write it in the disk. He don't follow the policy of security. So that will causes a threat for the person. So as I said, the most three, there is something called CIA, which is the security services, the main security services, which is the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability. These three main services that should found in your security system. So to defeat this security system, hacker did their own threat. It's called DAD, which is disclosure for the to defeat confidentiality, alteration to defeat integrity of the data, and destruction to destroy the data and make the data not available. So everyone have his side, hacker working in a way to defeat your services or security services. So they have their own threat, and the security people who have their own threat. Now, if I give you example, like if you have, if you are staff working in company, and he have the permission to access certain website, but he couldn't log in to that website. That's mean the availability and the website become unavailable for him. So that's mean I have a problem in availability for the website. I'm authorized to log in, but I couldn't. Person using online learning service to do exam. Both the user and the course coordinator should be assured and identify each other. So I need authentication mechanism. That means I know that this is the student who will do the exam, and you know that this website is belong to the teacher. In online banking, you can see your balance. Oh, I have money in my balance in the ATM, but you are not allowed to make transaction. So that's called access control. Who can? Because access control, that's mean sometimes in some situation, okay, I can allow to you to do something, but not allow you to do another thing. Like as an example, if you don't have money in your account, you can see the balance zero, but you cannot withdraw money, right? So it's access control. John discovered that someone modified his data in social media play. So he messing with the integrity of the data, because if you change the data without permission, that means there is a missing in the integrity. So this is for services and for example of them. So these services need a mechanism. So like encryption, digital signature, access control, digital envelope, and other mechanisms. I will not go deep in them, but I will just highlight that we have different type of mechanisms to protect these type of services, to not allow anyone see my data or modify my data or prevent me from access the data. I should have some mechanism to discover if someone trying to do an attack or trying to pretend that he is me. So and we know that in online now we have something called eavesdropping. Eavesdropping, that means someone trying to listening to your communication, like I will talk about here. Now, vulnerability or weakness, if someone trying to find a weakness in your system, a weakness in your network, as you know that you have a home internet. Now in home internet, if you have a weak password, someone will try to break your password. There is a software can working and trying to guessing password, and in certain 2 hours, 3 hours, it can guess your password if the password is not too long or not complicated. And now people using AI to predict in high accuracy, and now currently we have a high speed devices can do the job that maybe before like 10 years we don't have these devices, but now these devices can find the password within 1 day. And now hackers are working in a group sometimes, so they can work together to break some passwords. So they can make leaking in the data or make the data unavailable. So the threat is exploiting the weakness, trying, or the vulnerability, trying to highlight this weakness represent potential security harm to the asset of your company. Now, if I am talking about attacks, there is attack from inside and there is attack from outside. Can you tell me which one is more dangerous? Inside or outside attack? What's your mind? Inside. Inside. So you are all agree that is inside. Okay. So actually, yes, inside is sometime, mostly, I cannot say 100%, but mostly the person who is inside your company, he always know more. What mean by know more? That means he can access the building, he can access the offices. So actually he can be more dangerous than outsider. The attacker also could be passive or active. The passive, that doesn't affect the system resource, like someone just listening. He just listening to learn. So this is passive attack. He didn't modify the data. He didn't do anything. He just learned and trying to gain information. Why he do that? Because he want to move later on to active attack, which is to change, to make the problem. And like masquerade, someone pretend that he another person and trying to do something. Okay. Okay, now let's back from security to ethics. Now I know that in information security we have many mechanisms that can protect the data. And as you mentioned before, Prof. Elia, that these systems belong to companies. Now, if you think about Windows, the operating system, Windows, all of people have Windows. Windows have a high security in certain area, like to prevent viruses, to prevent attack. But does the Windows, the operating system, can collect information? Yes, can collect information. You don't know, right? There is something in security called backdoor. You don't know about backdoor. So, but here, the ethics should be there. The policy should be there. The law should be there to punish, to make a punishment for people who break the privacy or who do the wrong behavior. I cannot always suppose that everything could be organized in a bad way, because if
Doctor,
yes.
Sorry to interrupt you one moment. It's just because I have a noising something let the microphone switch on. So please, I invite everyone to switch off the microphone because it's really disturbing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I can mute all actually. Okay, so what we're talking about, the success in the digital economy requires an organization not only to be aware of, but actively adopt ethical values. So all organizations are always looking for implementing ethics in everywhere. Why? Because by using ethics, you will improve the environment, the culture of your company, the work. So the use of information technology should be based on integrity, trust, responsibility, and excellence. And this is the main ethical value that we need in information technology. I will come back to one question that asked by one student before, that is it when someone developing programming, is it there is any policy can control his programming? You see, everything have a policy, but it's based on the company itself. So different company have different policies. Some company have this policy, which is to control any part of development production, to not be harm others or not causes any harm for others. But in general, ethical is one of the main things that all the companies looking for, because if you have the value of the ethics in your environment or in the culture of your work, your business will be more success. Because anyway, if you behave unethical for the long term, for the business, from the business side, for the long term, customer will find the gap or the unethical behavior, and later on you will have bad reputation for your business. So it's not easy to break the ethical side until if the law is not part of it. Always the ethical is between the company should be there, and all the companies and the business people, they key to apply ethics. So many potential misuse and abuse of information and electronic communication that create privacy and security problem could be happening. Now, there is a difference between, I say, ethics and law. What's the difference between ethics and law? Can we say that in one sentence? What the difference? Maybe someone have mind. What's the difference between law and ethics? Is it the ethics same law? When I have code of ethics, is it same that I have a law? Ethics could be based on law. Okay.
The basis of law. I'm just reading the chat. Maybe I can support students on that point. Thinks that ethics are also rules. Law is a rule. So ethics are moral and social rules.
Yeah.
Not necessarily introduced into the law.
So the right ethics, something which is right or wrong, and law is rule, whether it's right or wrong. So yeah, that's maybe when you define law could be wrong or right, because in my perspective could be right, in your perspective could be wrong, right? So a different level of management could have different perspective also. So anyway, yes, most the answers is correct, Yani, which is law is a set of rule and regulation created by the government or governed of a whole society. The law is universally accepted, recognized, and enforced somehow. The breach of law may result punishment and penalty. But comparing with ethics, it's a moral philosophy that guide people about what is good and what is bad. Ethics is standard of how person should live and interact with other people, the science of standard human conduct. So there is a difference in a way that the law you should implement the law, you should follow the law, and there is a punishment for the law. But the ethics is not less important, but there is no punishment for the ethics. That's mean usually people looking for the ethics to increase or improve the reputation of their business, because usually if you want to have a customer in your business, you need the two ways trusted, so that we are looking always for ethics. So every person is equal in the eyes of law and ethics. Nobody is superior or inferior. Now, if I say the following, which is telling lie is illegal or unethical? Telling lie, unethical. Okay. So not wearing seatbelt when traveling in the car. Illegal, yes. So carrying a knife in public. You can, right? No problem. Is it? The knife illegal, and yes, it's based on in the country, right? Some country may be normal. Maybe gun is normal in some country. So anyway, usually is
If I can say, in some countries, maybe unusual do not have one.
Yeah, that's true. So it's based on the regulation of the country itself. So riding bicycle without light, that's for sure illegal. And buying period C DVD, and that it's considered in both way actually. In some countries is illegal, and some country normal. But anyway, it's unethical. Skipping, because you are encouraging people to do that actually when you buy these things. Skipping the far on the bus, that's illegal for sure. And chopping down a very old tree in your property, it's legal, but actually is unethical. So it's based on thing that what I want to looking for here is there is a different thing, a different when you are want to classify different action. Is it legal or illegal? Is based on regulation put in by governance from country to country are different. So some country could make the things allow for things and other country not allow it. But in general, when I'm talking about ethical and unethical, it's globally will be same for all countries. So law is changed based on the attitude of the country or the direction or the politic, but the ethical part should not be changed, should not be affected, because in ethics always I'm trying to find what is the correct way, not the wrong way. Okay, actually acting ethically and legally are not always the same, and this is should be done, like should be known. Like testing medicine on animal is legal, but in many countries, but in some people believe is not ethical. Organization always strive to build corporate culture based on ethical principles. So if the organizational culture, how we do things around here, they like always to do this thing in a relation to ethics and ethical behavior. So it's a behavior and a culture. So if you are used to do the thing in ethical way, you can build the culture in your institute. The biggest issue surrounding information security is not technical issue, but people issue. This is the most thing that we should know, that ethics related to people, not for technical part. The culture and people within an organization are just as likely to be the source of data leakage. As an example, I'm talking about privacy. Now, ethics in information security, usually we are talking about privacy. One of the main things that combine ethics and information security is the privacy, because usually revealing the information is the problem, which is someone he is not authorized to see your data, he can see your data. Some applications solve this problem, like WhatsApp. WhatsApp have encryption. So until the internet service provider cannot see the WhatsApp chat. Why? Because just the first user and the second user, they just can't see the data because there is something called end-to-end encryption. Some application, no. So anyone can see the data and it's not encrypted. So that's related to privacy. So information privacy is concerned with the proper handling of the data, constant notice, and regulatory obligation. So in data privacy, we need to find whether or how data is shared with the third parties, how data is legally collected and stored, and regulatory restrictions such as GDPR, HIPAA, or CCPA. And this is just some policy related to the privacy. So there is a policy in everywhere about privacy, but does the organization implement this policy? In some organization, they implement, like in healthcare, they should implement the privacy for the customer, but sometimes you can't find in different places that they say that implement the privacy part, but in actual, they are not implemented it. So it's based on the system itself for different country or different institute. When I'm talking about artificial intelligence, AI is a technology designed by a human to replicate, augment, or replace human intelligence. So I need machine to work as a human. So the code of ethics for AI should guide the organization in how to embed ethical thinking in the business or in our business. Ethical culture should be there to drive the vision of AI, guide the 5 core values, which is the honesty, trusted, boldness, fairness, and modesty. Now, the 5 areas of ethical focus in AI can conclude in accountability, value alignment, explainability, fairness, and user data right. That's mean, as we said before, AI could be involved in every place, in every system to do automation. And when I say automatic, that's mean he collect the data, he analyze the data, then make decision. That's the AI system, collect, thinking, trying to make a decision. Now, based on that, the decision, there is a consequences action. Now, if I continue to work in this way, maybe I can go in the part of ethical and unethical, or can break privacy. Because usually the AI data, when the data collected, like as an example here, hotel which implementing AI will face some challenge. The ability for a guest to turn off the AI at any point during their stay. So if you have AI in your room, smart room, is it you have the ability to turn off this AI because you're afraid that this AI could collect information about you? That's one of the things. The AI hotel assistant is designed to not keep any data or monitor guests in both cases without their knowledge, even if it's listening for awake word. Like as example, usually in a smart room, there is if there is AI, you will say, wake up, the AI will listen to you and say, yes, right? So that's mean 24 hours, he is listening to you to identify the word wake up, right? So this data that he collects, because he start to listening for you 24 hours. Why? Because the AI is wake up when you say wake up. So that's mean he continue listening. And if he continue listening, actually, there should be an ethical way from the developer to delete the data each 5 minutes that he listening to. Until he find the wake up word, he starts working, but not recording everything. The AI offers recommendation for places to visit during their stay for the hotel. Guests can ask why these recommendations are made and which set of data is being utilized to make them. I need explanation. Now AI can give you directions. Why he give you this direction? Search. Why he give you this priority of search? Now, if you start to think, the data is very expensive. Some people is buying your data. Now, your location, your GPS, why you go that way? You didn't send you from the other way. If you start asking why, you will find many business company involved and they benefit from that applications. So if there is no ethics, it will be a market. It will be a problem. The data collected about user race, gender, and other things in general could affect the decision based on the AI or based on the certain programming geometry. So that's all affect the AI decision. Now I know that the AI can make a decision, but usually if that AI is developed in an ethical way, it could lead to other direction. Thank you. That's all for my presentation. I know that I take a long time. Sorry for that. And please, if you have any part or any point you want to discuss.
Thank you very much, Professor, for that very interesting and inspiring presentation. Absolutely, you are on time. as we said. So, and I think that we had possibly too short time to hear you. So before to give the floor to the audience for additional question, I think that for a matter of equal treatment, I will abuse of my privilege to have the microphone to have the first intervention.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah.
Because there are many aspects actually of interest, of course. The latest one, the protection of data, and I would like to start from that point. Just to give an example, a very recent example, you know that I don't want to enter into the detail just now, but you know that in Europe, each country of members of the European Union established under a specific regulation a national agency for the protection of data.
Okay.
That national agency supervises cases of potential cases, including of violation of lack of security of data. And very recently, just less than 1 week ago, the Italian National Agency for the Protection of Data declared that Meta group did not guarantee the requested level of security of data because those data were transferred into United States where not necessarily such a protection, the level of protection guaranteed in Europe is equally offered. So this is an advice of the national agency, the Italian agency. It was also interesting to me, the first part, in relation to the question of security is related to risk. I would like here, it's quite interesting to me to see which kind of different approach, not necessarily, I don't not necessarily agree with that approach. In fact, I quite critically towards the approach offered until now by the European Union to the regulation of artificial intelligence, because most of our participants didn't know that European Union marked a strategy in 2018, 2019 for a European regulation framework of artificial intelligence. In April 2021, presented the first draft of a regulation on artificial intelligence. But this is a very critical point because, first of all, the approach to regulate artificial intelligence, as you rightly said, we have artificial intelligence in many aspects of our life. So this is what is included in those in that regulation. But the point is that the initiative seems to have been, principally, at least from my point of view, adopted to regulate the market, despite giving not so much priority to the prevention of risk. In fact, what is central, one of the central aspects of the European Union regulation, over artificial intelligence is the fact that they established 4 levels of risk. The higher risk, so the so-called unacceptable risk, the middle risk, the lead risk, and the basic, the limited, the unacceptable risk, the high risk, the limited risk, and the minimal risk.
Yeah, based on the impact.
Yeah. So, but this is a very critical point. And in fact, many civil society organizations and relevant stakeholders participating also in the process underline that aspect because what is an unacceptable risk? When you are able to define a risk as unacceptable and how to stop it, how to find
Control,
it, control, overcome, and ask for accountability
yes,
to the author of the threat. Because as you noted, the threat is a problem of security soon after, is an action. So that was
because
really interesting to me. Yeah, please.
yeah, actually is part. Actually, we can discuss that from the side of risk. Each institute they define their own view of the risk. So some people define the risk and their impact and likelihood to happen, but from the other people's side is the risk could be have more impact. So as you said, actually, the implementing of the things based on business wise. So when I want to see that this AI system, I want it to have a benefit, a business benefit from it, I could not say it's have high risk. It should be have low risk. Why? Because that's related to my business. So this is the actual. We cannot escape from it. But in general, when the organization want to evaluate the risk in general, I think there is you know more in the law than me, but in general, the risk itself based on the government is related sometimes to financial and maybe for also healthy financial. So they have their priorities. So every part have his priority, and that's maybe accept here and not accept for other people who have different priorities. So it's a matter of priority. Who can how they identify the risk. Now for the AI, as you said also.
Yeah, that's the point. Sorry to interrupt you, because at least the tentative of European Union is to try, in absence of a national different standard, the idea is to have an harmonization of rules in the European Union member states and use this harmonization as a contribution to the international to any future international regulation in an international treaty over artificial intelligence. The point is that in fact I would like to underline here for people the knowing the legal framework of European Union. A regulation according to European Union law is the legal act of the organization, which is immediately and directly implemented by the European Union member states. So if that regulation given the framework over regulation on artificial intelligence must be implemented immediately.
Yeah, that's good to have an umbrella that's cover or protect the people from that side, because actually, as you example just now, the Meta company like Facebook or Instagram or something or WhatsApp until there is many cases in the last 10 years about they leaking the data for Facebook. And as I said before, the data has become now the most important thing that have a value, because I can collect your data. I remember when something I read before that Google know about you more than your mother.
Yeah.
So that's true actually, because you are searching song from Google, you are searching everything from Google. You try to find things, you try to learn something from Google. So Google collecting information and know about you really. Google have an archive that can upload all of your photo or your information. Where is you like to go? Where is the places you don't want to go? What you eat? What you not eat? So everything is collecting. The data is there. They benefit from the data, and they from your data, from your movement, from what you eat, where you take the photo, they give you advertisement. Actually, yeah. So this is the AI. Actually, they are using the AI in business mostly now, and that's what people, a human, think.
Yeah, and I would like to use my personal experience. First impact with artificial intelligence system. It's a joke, but it's not a joke in the
Yes.
sense that returning to the initial step that artificial intelligence is human related.
Yes.
So it depends how you identified the algorithm and the artificial intelligence mechanism. So let me tell you a little story. I have my beloved parents are old, not so much, but they are old. But my father in particular tried to be updated and follow the advanced technology. So they decided to have Alexa from Google at
Yes.
home. I never had contact with such kind of machine. So I arrived to visit my parents, and my father, really happy, said, "You see, we have Alexa at home in that case." But as I have the habit to talk kindly to people, I talk kindly. I was speaking kindly to Alexa too.
Yes.
And the answer of Alexa was, "Sorry, I didn't understand you."
I see.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
she used to.
yeah, I say something like, "Please, Alexa, could you put some music?" But that please was not recognized by the mechanism. It's what I'm trying to say is always how much human we put into the technology. There is always the humanity behind.
Yes,
So
yes.
this was just a very anecdotal sketch to give an example.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, and it's developed by human, and some of them more efficient than other machine. So it's based on the developer and the company who develop it. Based on that. So in general, when I'm talking about AI, you are talking about something we are all of you now the technology is growing fast. Every part of our life is going toward AI.
Yeah.
With the new technology, I mean that the idea here is, when I say that there is a 5G, there is automation, there is, all of them are supporting each other now. So we are going to have the fifth industrial revolution, actually. So any question, please?
Yes, I think that there is someone rising up the virtual hand, Madam Claudia Manuel, MLG. Not sure she raised up the hand. I'm just asking if she's interested to intervene again. Madam? No, I think she changed her mind. But there is a comment on the chat by, let me see here, by Madam Arango. She said, currently there is cause for concern with artificial intelligence devices, especially those for smart devices, like the virtual assistants from different companies, and even the ones on your phone, that these companies are using these devices to eavesdrop on conversations in real time and sell or use this data for their recommendation and advertising. What's your view on these in regards to data privacy, user rights, and how the regular users can protect themselves against this misuse of their data?
Yeah, actually, that could happen. We know that this part is related to the ethical part, and we cannot force people to do the ethical thing. The law is not allowing that, but they cannot prove that. Okay, it's difficult to prove that because actually now you have usually this software are running from different countries, from different region, and each one of them have different rules. So when you want to investigate in any issue related to that matter, it will be more complicated and you cannot prove anything. This is the first thing. The second thing, actually, if you want to protect yourself from this or that situation, that the Android or the Windows system or iOS have the setting to protect you from these type of things. Actually, if you investigate more in IT perspective in YouTube or in Google to find how to stop tracking or recording from your phone or lock the ports for your phone, you can find many information related to that, and you can stop that. But people actually usually just think about it is it's complicated, but it's not complicated. I mean, you can follow up with your device and make your device not tracking or not backdoor, have not backdoor vulnerability or weakness. Yes.
So thank you. I would like to give the floor to Dr. Sudhakaran, will come with us for his question, and then to Mr. Saksham Tiwari for additional questions. Please. Doctor, you can switch your microphone. Yeah, please. You have the floor.
Good evening to everyone.
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
My question is there whether the artificial intelligence is a boon or bane for the human existence.
Sorry, can you introduce yourself before?
Myself is a Dr. Sudhakaran, and I am a professor in one of the law college in India.
Great. So
yeah, and he delivered a tricky question actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because actually agents usually they are looking for their own. If they are not government, if they are government, they are always politic direction. If they are not government, they are looking for their own business and their own thing.
Profit.
So they could use the part of artificial intelligence in any direction. But anyway, most of the artificial intelligence, if implemented without the human bad impression or bad thinking, it will be very useful and facilitate people's life.
Mr. Saksham Tiwari, please.
Yeah, you heard me, right?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have two questions. One of discussions about the use of AI in analytics. Like we have the use of AI in analytics.
Yes. Okay.
Like we have started using in analytics of sales, marketing, and making decisions.
Yeah.
Companies are started making decisions on their offers or any other promotional offers, and on the basis of the psychological perspective of the prospective customers beyond on the basis of their earlier purchases. So due to this, they are targeting. I means to say, like they are heavily targeting these customers on the basis of their psychology to gain more sales.
Okay. So what's the question?
by the use of AI, because through the use of AI, they can analyze huge amount of data and get decisions on the same on in a minute. But in case if we think for a customer's point of view, and if we see like somebody is posting me some messages regarding the sales and promotions, on the basis of my personal opinion or my perspective, I can there are some chances that I can be triggered by their work, and I make purchases. So it somehow increases the sales of the company. But in the another instance, the same will be a heavy impact on the customers only, because if they don't make purchase, nothing will be changed. But if they made purchase, the same will be benefit of the company
Yes.
part.
So actually, why you are looking for that as a problem? This is a great thing, which is I need some people to suggest for me. I need to buy things, right? So it's good they propose for me by using the collecting. Okay, I know that sometimes they can when AI system collect information, you can think that they can use it in wrong way, but in any way, in that example that you just put it, that they suggest for me something to buy and I already go and buy it, right? So that's good for me, because actually the AI system can collect different information from your life, from your based on what you said just now, any data from you, where is you are looking for what is the places that you went. Yeah, it could be used in good way, on good manner. It could be used in bad manner, but if they're using in a business matter, anyway, I think it's benefit for both sides, which is people want to do marketing and you want to buy. So you have the choice. You have the choice to buy or not to buy, or affected or not affected. Okay, but in general term, as you know that, and if I say in the law view, yeah, it's a break of privacy. Sometimes if they're collecting data without you know. But usually when you know, when you do this process, you are doing this process from software, right? So when you want to install the software and you just scroll down, scroll, and you find accept. Click yes, you didn't read. So they mention everything there. Actually, they have the permission to access your contact, access all data, and you say yes. This is one of the main things that you cannot just blame companies because because they already take your accept actually from the law side. Yeah.
Sir, in another instance, we have started using the AI in automotive industries too. Like we are using the AI and machine learning in the cars also. At one instance, we are already aware that there are some chances that it can be hacked by some hackers also.
Yeah, it could happen until the aeroplane. But actually now the company that developed this machine and this machine hacked, the other business will not buy this machine. So all the company that produce this AI system, always they have a strong security system that not allow hackers to hack it from outside. So it's a complete picture. I mean, when I want to develop a system, I need to concern about the security, because security now is become functional requirement. Before, security was non-functional requirement, but now no one buy your system if it's not secure. You get my point? So AI always will have concern about information security, but all the company who want to buy, who want to sell their product, they want to concern about security. So I think yes, if that's happened and someone hacking that system, people will not use it and this company will close, right? Yeah.
Thank you for the answer, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for this. I'm just going to read and maybe I can take the floor about that question, because it's a very legal question, interesting from a legal point of view. Our participant, Piyush Kamal, asked, can the artificial intelligence be used in the courts? I mean, there are a set of legislations which are already available, and the artificial intelligence can dispose the matter based on the available set of legislation, and then ask if it's good or bad. So, from my point of view, in the absence of a discipline on the use of artificial intelligence in a trial, it doesn't matter which step of the trial, the pre-trial, the written, or depending, of course, from the system, the legal system where we are based, or the public hearing during the process, that must be regulated. And as I already said, especially in criminal matters, remember that who is entitled to transform any kind of evidence in a proof to recognize the guilty in a process is always a judge. So is the human intervention over the evidence, transforming that to a proof as an element, a relevant element into the criminal proceeding. So always remember that. In the case of the use of artificial intelligence as a tool to collect available and applicable law in a specific case, that depends also from the attitude of the judge entitled to deal with the case, because not everyone use comparative law or all existing applicable law to a specific case. So of course it can be useful, but remember it must be organized and regulated, of course, to have a correct use. And in every case, from my point of view, the human interaction cannot be replaced by the use of artificial intelligence, especially when you are deciding about rights and freedoms of people. Thank you.
For sure, there is many parameters cannot read by artificial intelligence. I mean, think about yourself. Sometimes you look in someone's eyes and say, I'm not feel comfortable for him. So what's that? The AI cannot detect this because AI is based on the data. So yes, AI can support, can help us to make a decision. Like we as a teachers using Turnitin to judge the plagiarism, but I cannot say that I can depend 100% in Turnitin. I need to see the report to check what's give me. Then I use the report to support my decision. So I need to say that AI can support the people in the court. The AI can, as Prof. Elia mentioned, can collect data and give you more evidence in correct, in accurate, in fast way, but it cannot take decision based on that. I mean, the decision should be supported by AI. As you know now, until in the court, I think we have now something called digital crime, and digital crime need the court to be accept the technology, accept that there is something called AI, because if they want to prove that this digital evidence is legal or not legal, they need a technology expert and they need to use the AI. So now I think, I don't know, maybe Prof. Elia can have this information, but we have something now is called digital crime, and we have digital forensic, and they are using the latest technology like hash function, hash value, to record the evidences and to prove that this evidence collected in the correct way, collected by the right way to use it in the court. Is it this evidence or digital evidence is legal to use in the court? And that could be in the future. We have many technique now can make it accurate actually. Yani, we have some technique is like fingerprint for the information. So you can take the digital fingerprint or the hash value for the evidence when you collect it and take it again in the court. So if they are equal, that means this evidence still same, didn't change. So you can use the digital evidence actually. So we need.
Yeah, but there is always an interaction between the digital evidence and the judge in title of the case. I'm just reading here that our participant Kamal did the reference to the discretion of the court. It's not a matter of discretion; it's a matter of deciding impartially and independently over the additional tools. In my view, the digital evidence is an additional tool for the judge, but not excluding the intervention of a judge over the admission or not of digital tools.
But I can just mention something. For now, there is a solution for that. I mean, we have. I mean, now we can. I mean, everything should be developed and improved. Now, the court, we should have different type of courts, digital courts, that accept and understand that there is some technique could be used and it's approved. I mean, because now, as I said, digital crime is different from the real crime. Digital crime should have a policy, should have punishment, special punishment. They should have different technique to prove that this evidence is correct or not, and they can. We have now different technique in security that can support this type of courts. But what we need, maybe it's need a time, but I think after a while we will have some court specific for digital crimes, different from the civil courts.
Oh, that's but you know, there are countries where specialized tribunals are not allowed for a national law, and because they can in certain way not guarantee the necessary independence and impartiality for all. So it is important to also regulate the kind of specialization. If it's a material, ratione materie, related to the material issues, it is a kind of opportunity to deal with a new kind of crime. I totally agree with you. The cyber or the digital crime is totally different, but including useful for so-called traditional crime.
Yeah.
So increasingly organized crime in different countries use artificial intelligence and digital tools to expand exactly as we expand the good things like education. The criminal organization try to use new technologies and new tools to expand their crime without moving from home. You know,
that's true.
Yeah. So unfortunately. So thank you very much for that. Before to give the floor to Madam Arango, I would like to give the floor to Professor Fallah, who asked for the microphone just a few minutes ago. Professor, you are with us? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Finally, they unmute me.
Sorry, I tried to do it before, but I cannot. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a technical problem. However,
sorry to interrupt, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
sorry.
ma'am is trying to discuss one point. So I am waiting for the same that ma'am, as ma'am finishes, I will unmute you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, well, just want to going to add it about the using the artificial intelligence in the core. We are using it already, and we are using now in the digital forensics. I'm working with the digital forensics with many companies in Malaysia and Singapore. We use artificial intelligence to have investigate any digital in terms of the old social media or email or anything that is acceptable from the core is 100% because we are trusting AI and we need to let other people trust AI and AI is
You're mute, doctor. Please
yeah,
unmute you. Okay.
yeah, thank you. And the court is trusts the artificial intelligence. We are working now as the ethic and AI artificial intelligence. We're going to let know the people who's watching us and who's going to contact with us. Is artificial intelligence going is in our life and not just the court in everywhere. Thank you very much. And really is very interesting. This is the course summer school. And thank you, Prof. Elia, about give us this opportunity. And we'll see you again in this uh, uh, school summer on the ending, and we keep on touch.
Thank you very much, Dr. Falah. I'm going to give the floor to Madam Arango. Madam, please. The technical team can unmute Madam Arango, please.
Okay, thank you very much for such an engaging discussion regarding cybersecurity and how that ties into AI. Actually, I have a question regarding that. It's well known right now, especially in the most recent years, that it's become difficult to track and gather evidence, especially regarding cyber crimes. So it's hard to get the actual paper trail that you would usually use as evidence against someone in the court. So how can AI or is there already a case of AI being used to help in that? Like what Dr. Fala mentioned with the digital forensics, how is AI helping in that tracking the digital paper trail, so to say?
Yes. Dr. Farah, you want to mention anything about this? If you want, I can answer also mention later on. Yalla, okay. They mute.
Please don't mute definitively, Dr. Falah. I believe that he was clear. It was clear.
Thank you very much.
No,
Yes,
you are mute. Now, yes.
No, it's okay. It's okay, no problem. I thought it's my computer, but my computer.
This is an hacker attack.
Yes, no
That's the point. I'm joking.
Going to answer very fast to Chiara Ariel. Digital forensics is using with the artificial intelligence in the forensics used for the face recognition, in the camera detection, is using AI for the fingerprint recognition and handwriting recognition. Also, digital forensics is used in many cases. I work with the digital forensics in Singapore. They're using the cases, many cases in the court is last 100 years or 50 years ago. The artificial intelligence is rebag and recall. This is the cases in the court, and they warn the people who's feel is have a problem, and it was there is no technology in that time. Artificial intelligence has helped them in this time to open the court and case, and using artificial intelligence to find the solution and find the correct and right things in that case. Artificial intelligence really useful in the court. And I told you in Malaysia now, in Singapore, and I'm sure in Europe also, any email is in the artificial intelligence is recognized as who's right from where and which IP is they are accepted in the report.
True. Thank you very much, Dr. Fallah. Professor Abdullah, would you like to add something?
Yeah, actually, it's a combination of things. You cannot say it's just artificial intelligence. It's a technique of security and artificial intelligence could use there. Now, as you heard before, if you hear about IoT, Internet of Things is aimed to collect information from different places in different time, maybe 24 hours. So all of that help in an investigation, actually. So now digital evidence is, if it's collected in the right way, it could consider as evidence. How it's collected in the right way, you need to prove that this evidence didn't change, right? From when you collect until you submit to the court. So there is a technique to solve this problem. It's called hash function. So, and I think, Kiara, you already know about it from the course. So there is a way to improve and support the digital court by using AI for sure, because in any place now, as I said, we are going toward a smart city, smart home, smart court. So we are going in this direction actually. So as I said, we need to accept it. Like I have an example. When we accept to be in the online learning, we need to accept the situation, right? So we cannot say, no, I don't want online, or the online, or there is many people discuss that the online, the assessment in the online is not have validity, not have integrity, but we need to accept that. And here we back to say that there is a more effort in the student himself to be more responsible, to be a more stand-alone student, to go through this part of learning. So now, if we want to the world, if it's going to improve and to go towards the development, we need to accept that and trying to solve the problem, not just created challenge and so just make everything have a problem. So we're trying to solve these problem that facing, or trying to stop the technology and the AI from improving our life. So anyway, the conclusion, we can say that AI is facilitate improving our life, make it good, but if the human intercept in bad way, it's become we cannot say the AI is bad, but no, the human is bad. So it's like a TV. Yeah, the TV or any device, you can use it in the correct way or in the bad way, and that's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Abdullah. Thank you for answering also to that last question. I don't know if there is any additional question or comments from our audience. Just to let me add one point about the use of artificial intelligence and the digital forensic and so on. In relation to what we already said about the possible cases of discrimination and the impacting of the use of artificial intelligence over human rights. The use of artificial intelligence can entail a targeting group in criminal offense. This is the case, for example, for people from African descent in some countries. So the use of some facial recognition can eliminate them, for example, or exclude them from from job market in some cases. And this is also the other side of the use of artificial intelligence, and where we must intervene from a human perspective, as Professor Abdullah already said, and impede such targeting people, the use to targeting people and match them in some categories, because the advancement of humanity is not the same of the progress of humanity. I would like to repeat and insist on that aspect. So I agree that the technological advancement is a positive thing, but only if it is on the benefit of everyone. I think on Article 15, 15 of International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights about the access to the science advancement as a human right. This is a human right. So sorry to, it was important to me to add such perspective. So if there are no more questions from the audience, I think that we extended the 1 hour, more than 1 hour, our time. So thank you very much to all our participants for their patience, interest, engagement in this session. My special gratitude to Professor Abdullah and Professor Fallah for their interesting lectures and inspiring comments and overview. And I have a humble request to both of you. Please share, if it's possible, your slides with our participants, because they requested in the chat to have a copy of such slide, if it's possible, of course.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much, every one of their students on audience. Really, we have a great time with you, and I'm going to share the slide with you as soon as possible in the WhatsApp group. I think the WhatsApp group is active.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay,
So,
thank you, and it's nice opportunity, nice discussion was to discuss these topics. It's good opportunity to have all of these participants from different countries. It's nice. We hope this summer school will continue successfully every year, and we hope we will be part of it in next year.
I'm sure, yes.
Yeah,
I have no doubt, always optimist, and we have the digital evidence that
so maybe also next year we will try to involve the faculty of law from Sohar University also, so that will be any more effective from our side.
Yes, of course. Of course, everything you see, everything can be improved.
Yeah,
always.
That's true.
That's true. So thank you very much again. And thank you for your patience.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.